Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this November 17th regular meeting of Tampa Bay Water. This meeting was noticed in the Florida Administrative Register and on the Tampa Bay Water website. The meeting is available for viewing through live streaming, and a recording of the meeting will be posted on the agency's website. At this time, please rise as Vice Chair Hanowitz leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kathleen, can we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Cohen,
Here.
Vice Chair Hanowitz,
Here.
Mayor Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Eggers,
Here.
Commissioner Mariano,
Here.
Councilman Miranda, Commissioner Oakley,
Here.
Commissioner Wastel,
Here.
Commissioner Peters,
Here, virtually.
Oh, we have to.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning, Ms. Peters, who's joining us remotely. At this time, are there any changes to the agenda for today's meeting? Seeing none, we will move on to public comment. We have one person signed up this morning for public comment, and that is David Ballard Geddes Jr. Good morning, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, good morning, sir. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. Due to catastrophic overdevelopment practices and massive overpumping of the aquifer and total lack of ecostructure concerns, both above and below the ground, regardless of the minimum flow level requirements in the rivers, a permit request for additional water withdrawals from the Alafaya River has been submitted for its approval to the state, in addition to groundwater credits received from the direct injection pumping reclaimed water directly into the aquifer through the SHARP and the TAP program, and the Mosaic industry injecting its questionable phosphate wastewater underground. What could possibly go wrong there, right? Lacking current and future accountability, engaging in willful and wanton disregard of Mother Nature and the irresponsible overdevelopment practices in Florida, eating us out of our subsistence, calls into question as to why. Much of the recent development here in Florida is done in support of immigration from Cuba and Latin America, which respectfully Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Honduras receives on average an upward amount of 90 inches of rainfall annually, and sadly, unsovereign political powers have overtaken Central America and have dispossessed the indigenous people of their lands. Seeking refuge here in the United States, in this country, they've inadvertently walked away from their homelands of ample resource in their country for a land that is recklessly being overdeveloped into a state of perfidy and disrepair. The political coup and corruption that has overtaken Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Cuba, and elsewhere must be denounced, excommunicated, and removed so the indigenous population can feel safe in returning to their rightful homelands. And all of us worldwide must understand that stabilizing our population and balancing our resources are now necessary for our survival as a species. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Sure.
Yes.
Just wanted to pull A2, just one quick question on A2, so.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and just take that up? And
Chuck, just a quick comment from you all about the reserve fund balance. We have recommended balances at different points along the way and excess balance at each one of the, well, the rate stabilization, the renewal replacement, and utility. Just a quick comment on that, please.
Yes, sir. Several years ago, we looked out to the future and understood we were in a growth and we would be borrowing money. And so we made a conscious effort as a board to put some reserves away for use when the rate would be increasing. So last year was the first year we used rate stabilization, about $5 million to help us keep the rate stable, and that I believe that will continue. So this was an effort for the future to do exactly this, have extra reserves to use when we need them to keep the rate stable.
And that addresses the rate stabilization fund, and you think we'll be at $4 to $5 million for the next couple of years at least?
Yes, sir, I do.
And then how about on the renewal, replacement, and utility?
Well, the renewal and replacement and the utility, those are for capital projects, and we do plan to use them. I know the CFO has a cash flow that she is using those funds into the future, and I'll be happy to share the cash flows with you as we show you we're using those funds.
And when you say into the future, you're talking about the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. At this time, we do have a motion for the consent agenda. Please record your vote.
I'm a yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move on to the regular agenda now. Item B1 is the general manager's report. Mr. Carden.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to all of you. We'll start with the system, give you a little update on where we are with the system. Just finishing October, we delivered about 213 million gallons a day, and that's quite a bit higher than what we delivered the same time last year, about almost 10% higher than last year at this time. We did receive very little rainfall in September and October, and we are now in a deficit, a rainfall deficit, which triggered the stage 1 drought, and I'll bring that up here in a few slides. But as you can see on this chart, this is where we are with the different sources. And then I've got the future, the projected, and you can see a lot of yellow, and the yellow represents the desal facility. So we will be relying on the desal facility going into the dry season, and it's pretty much going to be running most of all the year. 11 out of the 12 months generally will be the plan going forward with the desal. On our consolidated water use permit, we are currently at the end of October at a little over 80 million gallons a day. And as you can see, the blue line, our limit is 90, and we're well comfortably under it. But as you can see, going forward into June, it will get closer to the 90. And we've been planning on this. This isn't a surprise, but we have been planning this going along. So it'll be 88 to 89 at that time, but we still have to continue to keep an eye on everything as you know how dry it is right now. At the South Central Hillsborough well field, we are at the permit limit. We are just slightly over right now at 25.15, but we are expecting the district to increase the permit. We put in a permit increase. We acquired some permits from others in the area, and that is expected to go to 26.8. Hopefully, by tomorrow's meeting, they approve that. And the reservoir, this graph showing you where the reservoir is right now. This is from end of October, so we've drawn some water. We are relying on this to supply the surface water treatment 100% right now. About 70 million gallons a day has been going to the reservoir. It currently is at 13 billion gallons. It can hold up to 15.5 billion, so we're comfortable right now, but as things continue to stay dry, that will drop quicker than our projections for how much should be in there at the time. I did want to cover the water supply and the weather. I mentioned it earlier. The region is in a stage 1 drought alert. We have over an 11-inch rainfall deficit, but our stream flows remain at normal levels at this time. We are coordinating with the member governments on our conservation measures and some demand management strategies. The district is expected to implement the Phase 1 watering restriction, which is 2 days per week in the area across their jurisdiction of 16 counties. And so we are watching the conditions closely, and if it worsens, we will take more aggressive outreach and mitigation actions. On the water quality study update, we did retain Kroll engineers to update the regional water quality study that addresses both total organic carbon and the PFAS treatment at locations that were near or above the EPA limits of 4 parts per trillion. The revised draft has been reviewed by all the members on October 20th, and we asked for their final comments, I think, on Friday, and so that report will be finalized, and we will be bringing back recommendations to the board early next year. The City of Tampa Hillsborough River permit renewal. They submitted their permit renewal for 82 million gallons a day, which is what they've been for years and years, to the district about a year ago. And we've had discussions with them on something they would like to do where their 82 million gallons a day includes their aquifer storage and recovery wells. So we've been having discussions with them on that, and Mr. Hogg has reached out. We're going to be meeting with each of the member government staffs and their lawyers over the next couple months and discussing what we've discussed with him. So we have not made any recommendations at this time. Also, just to let you know that we have to be wary of the interlocal agreement, that it does not run afoul of that. So we've been careful to keep an eye on that, and we've included our lawyers involved in that. So we're going to have several discussions before it even comes back to the board for any approval, so that we're a long ways from that. I just wanted to let everybody know that we are reaching out for the one-on-one meetings. I will bring back an item in January to give the board an update, and we can have some discussion at the board level, but I wanted to meet with all the staffs individually. On the performance audit, Baker Tilly, as you know, we're here on site at last month's board meeting and met with some of you. They continue to meet with us. They put out a survey for everyone to comment on, and they are on track to bring back their report by the February board meeting. Here's a picture of Warren and Amelia Brown from our staff. They were at the TBD podcast, and so they highlighted our master water planning and our supply diversity, and they spent most of the day on that podcast, I heard. This is the Communications Department receiving 2 awards of excellence from the Public Relations Society of America's Tampa Bay chapter. So that's Brandon Moore and Malik Rankin, who represented the agency at the awards luncheon. And as a part of the mini grant partnership with Newspapers in Education and the Tampa Bay Times, Warren Hogg led a webinar for local 5th graders focused on water conservation. The Great American Teach-In has started across the Tampa Bay area. And each year, a handful of our staff participate, helping educate students on what Tampa Bay Water is doing and some of the possible STEM careers that we offer. So Amelia Brown spoke here at the Plato Academy. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Commissioner Mariano?
Comment. I think it was last year we talked about we were buying a few different well-filled permits. Chuck and I have talked about this again. So while I have Joe Amoa, who's now the Utilities Director, we had David Allen before. So Chuck and Joe, I hope you get together. The 2 that I was thinking of was with the FGA plants with Jasmine and Palm Terrace, the wells that we shut down that we're now buying water from Tampa Bay Water. Could be good permits to help you get the permits you want to get done with Swiftmud and possibly Summer Tree. I don't have any control of that, but it could be another possibility for you.
Yes, sir, and I did send you over something Friday that showed you the list of the permits that we have identified.
Yeah.
We'll be working hard on that.
Okay. Okay, just with Joe here, you here, if I bring it all up. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilwoman Hanowitz.
Thank you, Chair. Well, first, congratulations to Brandon and Malik for your award. That's really an honor. You guys do such a great job, so I'm glad that you were recognized. And then, thank you, Chuck, by the way, for the additional information on the City of Tampa Hillsborough River permit renewal, because I had some questions regarding that. When is, I'm just curious, I didn't ask this, when is their permit expire?
It expired, the current one expired in December of 2024. And they have an application in with the district, and they're going through the RAI, the request for additional information with the district.
Okay.
I don't anticipate any action until in the late spring next year. But I'm not in control of that. That's just what the information they passed on to me.
And how long are these permits?
They can range, 20 years and further. They're normal, regular permits.
Okay. Well, I just know because when we're talking about the interlocal, Tampa Bay Water is not a party. It's really the member governments that are a party to this. So I just wanted to make sure that we're kind of updated as to what's going on, because there are probably going to be some policy decisions on the board level. So, and it's better to kind of tackle those issues on the front end than on the back end. So I'm confident that you guys are going to be doing that, but I want to make sure I said that in the sunshine.
Commissioner Whistle?
Thanks. Chuck, this is just more of maybe a historical question, thinking about that Hillsborough River permit. There's a situation in Hillsborough where there's a subset of customers that they live in the unincorporated area of Hillsborough, but through an old law and where the service areas were in place, where the infrastructure was, essentially the city is allowed to charge them like 25% more on their water bill than what all of their surrounding peers are charged by Hillsborough Water Resources Department. Has this board ever lobbied, taken a position to the state when we do our annual, I guess, delegation priorities on whether or not we approve that law? Because we charge everyone a flat rate here, correct? To all of the member governments. And we also sell water to the city of Tampa at that flat rate. But those same people that live in the same unincorporated area are charged 25% more for the flat rate water than their next door neighbor potentially, who was charged the same flat rate from us to our Water Resources Department potentially. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Have we ever looked into that officially from this board? I've always had a problem that it happens. We get complaints about it in Hillsborough County, reasonably, and it'll sometimes be like, hey, there's a water hookup 200 feet from my house that can get me on the cheaper water. Why aren't we doing that type of argument?
Yeah, to my knowledge, the board has not weighed in on that. I do, something in my mind's telling me there's a current bill that's being drafted to make that a law that everybody has to charge the same. I'm not positive of that number, but it's out there. I see Brant from our staff is saying yes, but I think that it's being teed up to go to the legislation this year. That very same thing you're talking about.
Last year? And it failed?
Brant.
And so what, can I have a little bit more elaboration on that from someone? Do you mind, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir. I believe it was filed last year and it failed, and I think it's been filed again. I'll get you the exact bill number here in a second, but it's a uniform utility rate, which basically, if I recall correctly, it speaks to exactly what you're saying. So they're not able to charge a greater rate to other members of the community.
Yeah, because I think the law in place, from what Mr. Cassie told me, is like from the 50s or 60s. It's like a really old law that's in place. Oh, okay, well then, yeah, if you could get me that. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, I share your concern. We have some neighborhoods, and I'm not going to try to draw the parallel, but some neighborhoods that are near a municipality where they're getting that water from a municipality into an unincorporated area. So for a while, there's that 25% increase to kind of cover, if you will, some of the capital that's being developed just for their area. So it's not just operating that they're recovering, but they're also some kind of capital investment. But it always seemed to me that there should be some kind of drop dead time. After a certain period of time, your contribution for capital will have, kind of, oh, that's enough, right? You've paid enough into that capital reserve fund. So that's kind of the thought process behind it, at least in the areas that we look at. So,
May I have a quick follow-up?
Of course.
Do we know if the bill prevents the lower rate provider from just simply increasing theirs to the higher rate provider, thus making it uniform? Because that's what I don't want to happen.
That would be,
Well, that is what the old rail company did when the Department of Transportation was being formed back in the early 1900s. People complained about the long rail that was east to west across the U.S. being cheaper than the little Pittsburgh hop. So what they did is they created the Department of Transportation, and the lobbyist for the rail company became the secretary of the original Department of Transportation back then, and they just increased the long rail, and now nobody gets to complain about it being less expensive. So that's what I don't want to happen for the water rates, just to be clear when we get there, but I won't beat up the conversation anymore. Thank you.
I think the House bill is 225.
Okay, thank you
There may
very
be
much.
others, but I know that's one that deals with that
that's a
topic.
great point, though.
Okay.
Commissioner Mariano, I will just say it's too bad Councilman Miranda's not here today because he could at least give us the historical perspective
Yes.
from the city of Tampa's point of view. Commissioner Mariano.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to bring up. I mean, we've all invested tremendously in getting Tampa Bay Water. It's been a great organization. And why should someone get a lower rate than someone right beside it?
Before we move on to the next item, let me just ask you, Mr. Cardin, on the issue of the level 1 drought emergency. Our next meeting is not until January 26th. Between now and then, what would trigger SwiftMud to actually start imposing restrictions?
Okay, Mr. Hogg would be happy to.
Okay, sure.
He's the expert
Thanks.
on all things district.
Good morning. Warren Hogg, Chief Science Officer. The Water Management District will look at both hydrologic conditions, rainfall, and river flows as they make their decision about water shortage stages. They will also coordinate with the water suppliers throughout their 16-county area to see how supplies are doing. So when conditions continue to degrade and there looks like there could be coming water restrictions, then they could move into a modified phase 1, which would be 1 day a week watering for a defined period of time in any geographical area. They could do it for the whole 16-county area, or they could do it just for our 3-county area if it were us, like they did last year. So they'll look at that on a monthly basis, and their board does meet each of the 12 months of the year.
So theoretically, they'll be looking at that during our absence and working accordingly. I know some jurisdictions, the city of Tampa is one, it never went back to 2-day-a-week watering. Some did though. And I just want to remind everybody that that is a tremendous use of our potable water, that cutting back from 2 days a week to 1 makes a real difference in terms of conservation. And it's never too early, even if there aren't restrictions in place, to sort of be aware of this and be cutting back, because it really does make a big difference in terms of our available water. So. With that, we do not, I believe, have to do anything with your report, correct?
No.
Mr. Cardin? Okay.
So first time we got that many questions, that's awesome.
Okay. We are going to move on now to item B2, which is the general counsel contract renewal, and I will turn that over to our general counsel, Ms. Fernandez.
Thank you, Chair. We are approaching our 2-year anniversary of our representation of Tampa Bay Water. Our current contract is expiring at the end of February, so we have brought forward to you a renewal that is basically the existing contract with a few changes. It's requesting a 3-year term instead of a 1-year term,
And we're keeping rates the same in year one, and then asking to apply the lesser of the CPI or 3% in years 2 and 3. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same contract, and we would love to continue representing Tampa Bay Water.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. Please record your vote.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Well, that unanimous vote certainly is a vote of confidence in what has been a very satisfactory relationship, I think.
I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
They just started.
I know, yes, time flies, we're having fun.
Yes, but congratulations, and it's been a pleasure for all of us. All right, and now I'll turn over item B3 to you as well.
Not much to discuss on this one. This is just a request to hold an attorney-client session with, regarding the Polk Regional Water Cooperative's administrative lawsuit against Tampa Bay Water and the Southwest Florida Water Management District related to our permit increase on the Alafaya River. So we intend to hold that, if approved, had that attorney-client session at the end of your January meeting. And just for public knowledge, we do have our hearing dates scheduled for early March, 6 days in early March, and otherwise just progressing through the preparatory processes with special counsel. All is going well. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Whistle.
Just one brief question, then I'll move it. Are they required to notify my constituents that live on the Alafaya River that this is going on and that they're trying to harvest water from upstream, or is this kind of just happening quietly right now?
Are you talking about Polk Regional Water
Yeah.
Cooperative noticing? No, I mean, there's notice requirements for permits in general when you are getting ready to have one issued, but not individual notifications to each property owner. Warren looks like he has something he'd like to add.
There is a requirement that the permit be noticed when it's filed, and also if the district gets to a point of final agency action. But the requirement is for publication in a newspaper of general local circulation. It's a legal ad that's very small in the legal section. That's the only notice that's required.
Okay. I'll move for approval.
One discussion, please.
Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you. What's the date of our January meeting? I'm looking at my calendar. I don't see it on there.
It's the 26th, 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
Commissioner Eggers.
So I'm sorry, because it was an update on the suit against us taking more water.
Well, the only pending lawsuit is the one, correct, regarding our permit. Polk Regional Water Cooperative has filed their own permit for removal of water from the Alafaya. That is still pending with the Water Management District. That has not had any action taken on it.
So that's not, okay, all right.
Correct. The attorney-client session will not be talking about their permit, just our permit.
And, but that is of concern. Chuck?
Yes, we are watching that. We might intervene. Right now, the district is just reviewing their permit and giving them more additional information, requests for additional information.
We've let them know our feelings about that.
Yes,
Which came first?
us. We filed first.
Okay, so, all right. I just don't, this is obviously a whole different story with them taking water upstream and us taking water downstream that would otherwise go into the bay, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just keep wanting to remind myself that the drama that's coming from Polk County seems to be counterintuitive. That's all I'm saying. Folks, whoever's.
Commissioner Whistle and then Commissioner Oakley.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be reasonable too, but I'm also willing to get really loud about issues. Is Amber here?
Yes.
Okay, I'll want to talk to you real quick afterwards, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Commissioner Oakley.
I was just wondering if Polk County's putting in for a permit to draw water, surely they can't take more water to make it go below minimum flow, could that be, or?
And I think, when we start getting in, so from that part of it, that would be relevant to the discussion we can have with our attorneys, because they have provided as part of Polk Regional's defenses that they have filed in public record, is that they would be impacted to their detriment by our permit because of their own permit. So that's The question you're asking is part of the lawsuit, and so we can get into
I
that
just find
with
it
our.
hard to believe that they would be affected by ours since we're taking water out so far below downstream from where they're taking water, so be a concern.
All right, the motion on the floor is to approve the request for an attorney-client session on January 26th. The motion was from Commissioner Westall, seconded by Commissioner Oakley. If there's no further discussion, please record your vote.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move on to the C items now, which is our action items. The first is the Masterworks Enterprise Software Subscription Service Agreement, and that will be presented by Maribel Medina. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Agenda item C1 is an action item, and at the end of this presentation, I will request your approval for a 5-year agreement with Origo Technologies. Since 2015, agency staff has been using Origo's Masterworks software to plan and manage the agency's capital improvements program, or CIP, and capital projects. The software is the agency's project management information system supporting the project management methodology. And Masterworks allows staff to track project and program budgets, expenses, and schedules, as well as manage professional services, construction contracts, and project documentation. Additionally, this software houses the real property and utility conflicts databases, includes an internal ticketing tool for surveying and engineering services, and is used to develop the annual update of our CIP plan, prepare quarterly executive reports that are approved by you, and develop monthly capital program status reports and dashboards. The proposed subscription service agreement will extend the previous agreement set to expire at the end of this year and includes subscription, maintenance, and support to the software for the next 5 calendar years, starting in 2026 through 2030. A support plan with 250 hours per year for concierge hour services, allowing staff to add new functionality, reports, dashboards, and business workflows. And it also includes 150 licenses for internal and external users. And with that, staff requests approval of the software agreement for a 5-year term, not to exceed amount of $1.6 million. And this concludes my brief presentation. I will be happy to take any questions.
Councilwoman Hanowitz.
Thank you. Thank you, Maribel. I just wanted to hear from you. So y'all have been using this since 2015, so I assume you're happy with this.
As happy as we can be, yes. Yes, we are leveraging the functionality. It has been extremely useful, especially for most of my staff that have to develop those reports and dashboards to track expenses for capital projects, yes.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if it was keeping up with all the demands in terms of, the changes in technology.
Yes, I think that we got everybody internally supporting the software, and we are actually now allowing external contractors and engineering consultants to use the software, which is more efficient for us to track all the work that goes into managing a capital project.
Okay, great. Thank you. Move approval.
Second.
Okay, no further discussion. We have a motion and a second. Please record your vote.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. We're going to move on now to the D items, presentations and reports.
C2, Chair.
Oh, excuse me. We have item number C2, which is the property acquisition policy. And again, I will turn that over to Kelly Fernandez, General Counsel.
Thank you, Chair. This is an existing policy. We have 2 revisions to. The policy is specific to the South Hillsborough Pipeline Project, and it provides the general manager's settlement authority for property acquisitions. The 2 revisions to the policy that we're seeking approval on are to extend the expiration date from the end of this year to the end of the acquisition period for properties for the pipeline, And the other revision is to clarify that the policy does not apply to payments that we are mandated to make into the court registry related to orders of taking in the eminent domain process. Otherwise, the policy remains the same.
Any questions? If not, can we please have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Wastel, and I believe it was Councilwoman Hanowitz seconded.
I'm sorry, is the second from?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Peters, we need your
Oh,
vote, please.
please record your vote.
Yes, I'm a yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the motion passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll go on to the D items. We have some presentations and reports this morning. The first is our member government report, and this morning we're going to hear from Pasco County. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Adolfo Gonzalez. I'm the Utilities Engineering and Contract Management Director for Pasco County. I'd like to recognize two leaders we have from Pasco County Utilities here with me today. First is Mr. Joseph Amoa, who is the Utilities Director, and Mr. Kevin Jenkins, who is the Water Quality and Operations Manager for Pasco County Utilities. Pasco County Utilities is the largest provider of water and wastewater services throughout Pasco County. We provide over 40 million gallons of potable water to our customers every day. A little over 9 out of every 10 gallons of potable water that we provide to the more than 400,000 utility customers comes from Tampa Bay Water. It's produced by Tampa Bay Water. The remainder is produced from our isolated well systems throughout the county. This graphic shows the primary transmission main system for potable water throughout the county. It has two major components. One is the 4 points of connection with Tampa Bay Water, starting at Maydam, Odessa, US 41, and Lake Bridge. At those points of connection, we receive and distribute water to our water treatment plants at Southwest, Little Road, and Boyette. We also have another water treatment plant made up of isolated wells that directly link to our regional network of transmission mains. Newsflash, we continue to grow at record pace within Pasco County in terms of our population. Since 2010, our population has increased by 46%. That places us among the top 10% of all counties nationwide in terms of growth. Since 2020, we have increased our population by 20%. Just in the last year alone, we've added 6,000 new water meter connections to our accounts. We're also making great progress with our water service line inventory program. Since we started field verification of unknowns, we have over 43,000 unknown service lines. To date, we have verified over 7,000 on the public side of the meter and almost 6,000 on the private side of the meter. We are adding additional field crews this year. With the additional field crews, we are on track to verifying all 43,000 unknowns almost 4 years ahead of the EPA mandated schedule. In addition to that, this year we're going to be partnering with a firm called Blue Conduit. They provide predictive modeling services using artificial intelligence to try to speed up the location of unknown materials throughout our system. We have a very successful and comprehensive public communications and outreach program. One of the programs we are most proud of is our newspaper and education project. That's a yearly insert in the Tampa Bay Times. We also distribute it to Pasco County schools and other community outreach events. Just last year, over 80 teachers in 36 schools used the inserts to instruct their class on water conservation and water resource measures. From our survey of those teachers, over 92% said the informational material was instructive in their classroom use of the material, and 95% plan to use it again in the coming year. Our current 5-year capital improvement program is almost at $1 billion for water, wastewater, and renewal replacement projects, of which just under 20% is dedicated to water projects. Out of that 18% for water projects, about a quarter of it will go toward treatment and storage projects within our network, and the other 3/4 will go to water main, distribution, and transmission main extensions. We're also trying to optimize or continue to optimize our reclaimed water network. Right now, we are distributing over 27 million gallons of reclaimed water to our customers. That is that much more water that we're conserving on the potable water side. And our plan is to increase supply of reclaimed water, primarily through the expansion of our wastewater plants. We have one that's under construction right now, and 2 more plants will be under construction within the next 5 years that will add additional reclaimed water supply. In addition to that, we intend to add more ground storage tanks to provide better coverage during wet and dry seasons. And this year, we are also starting an alternative reclaimed water supply project to look at alternative sources to augment our irrigation supply network. Looking ahead, we will be completing our water, wastewater, and reclaimed water master plans this year. That will then inform our future capital improvement list of projects. We're doing significant upgrades to our supervisory control and data acquisition, essentially our monitoring and operational control of our water and wastewater plant operations this year and over the next few years. We're also purchasing a program called Autodesk Construction Cloud that will be another tool for our project managers to use to effectively administer their contracts, with the aim of improving our execution rate on capital delivery of projects. On the private development review side, Pasco County uses an online permitting portal called Acela. We will be customizing that to provide more automated response and quicker review times to our customers and more real-time information for our applicants throughout the process. We're also restructuring our asset management program to better inform future decisions on capital projects. And we're also trying to figure out how to start inventorying all our septic systems throughout the county to meet the intent of the House Bill 1379. County staff are also looking at alternative funding sources, primarily through grants for things such as emergency generators, reclaimed storage tanks. The county also received a large sum of money to use in their community development block grant disaster recovery efforts. We intend to request some of those funds for helping communities that were hit hard by some of the hurricanes in the recent past. Our BMAP compliance, is related to the Weeki Wachee spring shed. BMAP is Basin Management Action Plan. The northern third of the county is within the Weeki Wachee BMAP area. That requires us to look at reducing nitrogen in our irrigation network to state standards. We're also seeking funding for additional grants that might be out there for that work as well. We have invested or will be investing almost $20 million in PFAS reduction projects over the next 3 years, primarily at some of our isolated wellheads that have some higher exceedance levels on PFAS. The plan is to start preliminary design on some of those treatment technologies this year, and then roll it out into final design and construction in future years. With that, thank you for your time, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions, comments? Yes, Commissioner Eggers.
Just one question in the area of trying to get ideas on how you pay for your capital. A lot of this capital is intergenerational capital. I mean, you're talking 30, 40, 50-year investments. Are you paying for it just out of the rates? Are you being able to bond that? Or how are you paying for some of the expansion that you're doing?
For the last few years, it's been through our rates, but we do have budgeted for going out to the bond market in the next year or two to fund the large wastewater plant expansions. The current wastewater plant that's almost near completion is the Southeast Wastewater Plant, and that's a 3 MGD expansion of that plant. It was originally budgeted before construction at, I want to say it was around $12 a gallon. The low bid came in at $37 a gallon. So it went from a $60 million project to a $112 million project. Now we are budgeting $65 a gallon for future wastewater plant expansions for 2 reasons. One is the continued supply chain disturbances that's caused increase in inflation, but also because of the advanced treatment that we're going to have to be put at each plant to meet the nutrient reduction goals.
Yeah. But one of the things we get most complaints about are Duke Energy utility rates and our own utility rates. And the pressures for expansion or replacement is just incredible. So our staff doesn't like me saying, using our own penny for Pinellas for utility rates because historically it's always been self-contained. But just trying to come up with different ways to minimize those pressures on utility rate increases. So bonding to me is, we're so proud of not having any debt, and yet the folks today shouldn't be paying by themselves for the next three generations, say, on our capital. So just curious how you were handling that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hanowitz.
Thank you. And Commissioner Iger, that's a great point because I think we all deal with those issues in St. Pete. It's the same way. When you do the bonds, we kind of finance a lot of projects. We try to have a 50% cash to debt ratio. Do you when you said you were financing basically through rates?
Yes, ma'am. Most of the projects are financed through our rate structure, but the large wastewater plant expansions coming up in the next 5 years, we can't do that just with our rate structure. So that's where we plan to seek additional bond financing for those projects.
Okay. And that's just going to be a specific bond just for that as opposed to other projects?
In the past, that's how we've done it.
Okay. I was just going to ask questions in terms of your reclaimed water supply alternative study. I'm curious, first of all, you guys do a great job with reclaimed water in your county. And so you're going to, it seems like you're going to have more storage tanks. Sometimes that's a challenge, right? Because you need reclaimed water for those storage tanks. And if there's a drought or dry season, it makes it more difficult. So I'm curious, your need for more storage tanks based on, you don't have enough? Because typically, I think in St. Pete, we sometimes have issues where you don't have the water.
It's a balancing act every day. During the dry season, we don't have enough to go around, so we try to improve or increase our storage the night before for the next day's watering.
Right.
A couple of the things we're doing this year is we have not as large as Tampa Bay Water Reservoir, but we have a reservoir at Boyette that holds 500 million gallons of storage.
Mm-hmm.
But the effective storage volume is near $250 million gallons
Right.
because of the slopes of the reservoir. Mm-hmm. We're doing a study this year to see if we can improve or stabilize those slopes to take more advantage of a larger effective storage volume, which means more water on any given day to send out to our customers. That's one thing. The storage tanks in different parts of the county will also help us with pressures in our system. Right now, we're allowing our customers to take reclaimed water essentially from midnight to 8 a.m., depending on how much pressure there is in the system.
Got it.
We're trying to increase the reliability of our system.
Great. And in terms of your alternative water supply study, a lot of times you have the reclaimed water that's part of the master plan. This is a separate study on its own to determine, I guess, different sources as opposed to wastewater? Or?
Yes. Groundwater, surface water, stormwater augmentation. We're going to look at those opportunities.
Is this the first time you do that type of study? Or
Yes.
Okay. And when is your study going to be done?
Probably sometime in 2026.
Okay. I'll be looking forward to looking at that. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Whistle.
Thank you. I found you very impressive. I'm sure your Pasco commissioners are happy to have you. I did want to lean in on one of the comments that Commissioner Eggers made about funding sources. At our most recent board meeting, the Hillsborough commissioners were presented a chart of our surrounding peers on their impact fees for water resources, and Pasco is doing a way better job than we were about capturing the impacts of new residents coming into the county. I believe it was like almost double, significantly around there. I don't remember where Pinellas was on that chart, but so we recently have made the move to try and capture the costs of those new impacts of new residents to the community that we had not been. And we were in fact raising our water rates to buffer the costs of new impacts for new residents, which I found very inappropriate on our board. I think I was the lone dissenting vote on that motion, in fact. But I do believe that, people want to live here and the new residents need to be paying their fair share, and that should be being appropriately captured through those impact fees. And I hope that all of the member governments are taking a hard look at that. And if they don't want to pay the price, then I guess it's not so welcoming to be here after all, But the reality is that the inflationary pressures caused by 2 presidential mismanagements of COVID over a 4-year period have the toll is going to come, right? The bill is going to come to the American people for the American Rescue Plan and for the CARES Act, and that is going to be seen through all of these high inflation costs that were overwhelmingly more significant in the construction sector than they were in the normal CPI. So I'll digress from there, but I believe that impact fees, mobility fees, whatever the member governments call them, they should continue to be studied to capture 100% of the impacts of new residents in the state of Florida and nothing less, in my opinion. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment,
Commissioner Mariano.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. You guys do a great job. And historically, the impact fees that Pasco County has done, we did them, and it was a very simple explanation to our citizens. It was like, we're having the new growth pay for itself coming in. And it's only the impact that they can have, not anything from past things that weren't done. I think it's helped with our growth because people know that we're being responsible to make sure we're going to be able to grow and not overburden the taxpayers that are currently there. We're also doing something else that you haven't mentioned, which I think is great, as far as our partnerships that we take with the private community. We've had a couple of big projects coming in. We couldn't make it all work. We're working together with them. They're actually co-funding it to build the infrastructure in place to help us along with it. We're working with them for future growth as well. And by upsizing those pipes up front, it saves money. State legislature has made it tough between raising impact fees anymore, which you'll struggle with. It also makes it tough with partnerships, but we've got a good group that are in the county as far as like looking for the long-term vision for the benefit of them. It's been working out pretty well. And I think it is critical that all the advanced wastewater is going to drive up the cost dramatically, as well as all the inflation. But I think it's critical we actually do that to keep our water pure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are going to move on now to item D2, which is the Tampa Bay Waterwise Program update.
Smart.
Amelia Brown, Demand Management Program Manager, will present this item. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm providing an update on the Tampa Bay Waterwise Program and also providing the year-end results from 2025. So I think you're familiar with our program. We're aiming to save hopefully up nearly 4 million gallons per day by 2030. This program is actively aided by the members. They help guide the development of the program. EGIA is our third-party rebate administrator, and the district co-funds this program. Here's some highlights from this last year. We did increase the number of projects that we completed in the multifamily, commercial, and HOA sectors. And the multifamily projects continue to account for the majority of the program savings. The chart that you see on the top right here is one of the projects that we completed this past year. It was an apartment complex in St. Petersburg, and you can see the dramatic reduction in water use after the 0.8 gallon per flush toilets and high-efficiency shower heads and aerators were installed. That is about a 70% reduction at that one property. And that's not the only property that has seen that level of a reduction, although it is at the high end. Typical reductions are 30 to 70%. We also take a look at how those savings carry on in the longer term. And in general, we find that these savings are very persistent. The graph at the bottom shows one apartment building where we rebated the project in 2021. And that average water use has maintained pretty similar after the installation of the bathroom fixtures. Also this year, the program launched a sprinkler system rebate program for homeowners. And through our pilot phase, we were able to gather feedback from both the customers and the licensed irrigation contractors who participated in the program. And the working group is considering modifying or expanding this program in the coming year. Also, EGIA's outreach staff invested a lot of time making connections with hundreds of plumbers and hundreds of irrigation contractors around the region to increase awareness and participation in the program. The water saving results from these efforts are shown here, with the 2025 savings coming in at just above 331,000 gallons per day saved. And this figure has been updated from the numbers that were in the board item. We measure actual program savings with the billing data and corrected some errors that were found. So the net result is that over the lifetime of this program, this almost 6 years, the program savings total over just 1 million gallons per day, which is a significant milestone for the program. And these savings were achieved through the installation of about 37,000 devices. Where that puts us on our trajectory toward 2030 is just a hair above the high target for this year. And the program costs comes in at 74 cents per 1,000 gallons, which is far below the average cost of new water supply development that could cost $4 to $12 per 1,000 gallons, with the exception of the consolidated permit well field increase. Looking ahead to 2026, we have a much higher target for this next year and the future coming years, but we hope to get there, aiming for about 560,000 gallons per day saved. The program launched a temporary price increase for the toilet rebates, so now we provide about $100 to $200 per toilet rebate across all the sectors, and we want to measure the effect that this has on participation. The whole point would be to drive up participation in the program and increase savings. So homeowners who purchase their toilet between November 1st of this year and May 30th next year might be eligible for that higher rebate amount. We are also looking to try out some new strategies to build our presence in the commercial and new construction sectors. Currently, we're looking at rebating some projects in Pinellas County that plan to use gray water, and we continue to offer rebates for homes that meet the Florida Water Star standard. Those homes save about 50,000 gallons per year, and if you look at the rate of new construction happening in Pasco and Hillsborough, that can add up to some serious savings if it were implemented widely. And the marketing team at EGIA is going to continue to implement all the tried and true marketing strategies that have been working over the past few years, like social media, letters in the mail to customers, and in-person outreach with the commercial and multifamily sectors. And they're looking to develop some new strategies as well. And with that, I'm happy to take any of your questions.
Commissioner Mariano?
My first is like put a comment in. What a phenomenal job you're doing. What great progress you're making. This is absolutely what I hope to see for down the road, and what you're doing is just tremendous. So thank you for your great work. Recently, I just took a trip for my wife and I's 34th anniversary. Went to Greece, and in there they had some of the presentations of the old construction. Phenomenal what they built with like no technology like we've got now, no machinery. But one of the things they did in the mountains, especially as the water would come down, they'd all have cisterns, and they would take the rainwater would come in, and they would hold it, and that water would be able to hold for the year. I know we're doing rain barrels, and I don't think it's taken off quite as well as we'd like it to see because it's a limited quantity. Have you looked at maybe even trying to look at some encouragements for like cisterns being created where they'd be larger as new development comes in?
We haven't explicitly discussed that option. Thank you for the suggestion.
All right. I'm gonna look at my guys too, but just throw it out there.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Eggers, and then Westall.
Yeah, I would second the comment about the great job you're doing. Thank you for that. Keep it up. I know it's we still got a few years to go. Just a question on the 24-25 fiscal year. So you ended that in the end of September?
Correct.
And so I saw quite a big jump. It kind of levels off this year. Any thoughts on that? I mean, it went up a little bit, but not like the previous years.
We had a few more multifamily projects. If we had 17 this year, I think maybe the number last year was 14. We had a few larger projects. Some of our programs had a slight drop in participation. We saw some fewer toilet rebates. That was also part of the motivation to try out the higher homeowner toilet rebate price. And then another kind of funky feature of how this data rolls out, we wait about 6 to 12 months after a project is completed to measure the actual water savings. So there's a little bit of a time lag between when we know how much water a project saved and when we're able to report it. Okay. Some of the savings that we're talking about this year are actually from some projects that were paid out last year, But that happens every year. Next year, we'll be getting some savings from projects that were completed this year, where there was only a few months of data and we couldn't account for all those water savings.
So the new construction's obviously where the real potential is, because they're making that one-time investment, or not one time, but initial investment. On the replacement piece, that would be a little bit more, since they pass all those costs through to their tenants anyway. What kind of program do we have for that replacement program of existing apartment complexes?
So typically what we're doing is providing rebates for the toilets, the shower heads, and the aerators. Landscaping is an option too, but that's just not as popular. It's really those indoor fixtures that are most popular amongst the property owners and are achieving those really big dramatic savings.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Westall?
Thank you, and I'll echo the sentiments that the other two board members said. How are you identifying which apartment to go to?
Okay, so EGIA has a couple outreach manager, and he spends a lot of time making connections with a variety of individuals in the apartment ownership structure. So there's an ownership group, and there's a local manager, and he does a lot of work researching on the internet, also looking at when a property has recently been acquired by a new group, and they're more likely to want to renovate the old property. So he uses those listings to identify some good targets, does a lot of phone calls, emails, shows up in person, and is dogged in his approach.
There's an apartment, the towing thing with the apartment association, there's some apartment association that we just did something with.
Yeah, Bay Area Apartment Association.
So, and he coordinates through all of those groups, or they, EGIA?
Yes.
I just wondered, when they're doing these replacements, I don't know, I've never had to go pull one myself or look into it, but you don't have to pull a permit to change a toilet bowl, right? Lisa, anybody in Hillsborough County know? I'm just trying to think about, because this is only about replacements, right? I'm assuming all of the new constructions are already meeting these water saving standards.
I would not necessarily assume that. I don't believe that 1.28 gallon per flush toilets are required by code. 1.6 at a maximum is allowed, and so I do believe some 1.6 toilets are going in new construction. And so that would be an opportunity in the local codes to improve the efficiency right off the bat at no additional cost to developers and builders.
I'm going to get a hit piece right on me after this board meeting, but I'm just curious.
I'm seeing my future play out.
Okay, I think I got, maybe not a requirement, like I'm a small government kind of guy, but maybe some type of encouragement through the Development Services Office of hey, these are some of the things that we've seen and outcomes, Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll yield.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our final presentation of the morning is the South Hillsborough County Program Update. Maribel Medina is going to present that.
All right. Agenda item D3 is a status update on the South Hillsborough County program. And this item is for informational purposes only, and no board action will be requested today. The South Hillsborough County program is a comprehensive initiative that began in 2019 to address the fast-growing needs of South Hillsborough County. The program takes a multifaceted approach that includes water supply management, water conservation, and infrastructure projects. We have taken steps to maximize existing infrastructure by increasing the South Central Hillsborough Regional Wellfield Permit limit. The permit was first increased by 850,000 gallons per day in July 2022, and it will be further increased to an average of about 26.8 million gallons per day based on the two permit quantities obtained back in November 2024 and earlier this year. The permit application was filed in March, and staff expects the permit to be issued, I believe, tomorrow or by end of this year. Staff continues to work closely with Hillsborough County on demand management initiative as presented by Mrs. Brown in agenda item D2. And infrastructure projects are one of the major components of this program. The stars on this map indicates the general location of the projects under the program. We have completed 3 projects, all of which have increased the delivery capacity in this area of the county. And last month, you approved Guarantee Maximum Proposal number 3 for the South Hillsborough Pipeline Project, and I'm happy to report that construction started today on the pipeline project. And last month, you also approved staff to move forward with the South Hillsborough County Wellfield project. The wellfield will be located in the Balm area of South Hillsborough County, as shown on this map. The western portion is owned by the Environmental Lands and Acquisition Program, better known as ELAP, and this location is known now as the Stacy R. White Nature Preserve. This location will hold wells 1 through 4, and well number 5 is our existing well number 5, which was the test well under the feasibility program, which is shown in the upper left corner of this graphic. And the eastern portion of the proposed well field will be located on property owned by Hillsborough County Water Resources Department. The east side will include wells 6 through 8 and the associated water treatment facility. These wells and the water treatment plant will be co-located with Hillsborough County's South Drinking Water Facility and adjacent to the new Balm point of connection, which is part of the South Hillsborough Pipeline Project. For this project, we will need to obtain property rights from multiple stakeholders. This slide shows the entities from which property will be acquired, and I will go over the details of this in the next few slides. Last month, I shared an update about the proposed exchange of the Cone Ranch Wellfield development rights for the 5 acres in the Stacy R. White Nature Preserve. This map shows the Cone Ranch, which is now called the Lower Green Swamp Nature Preserve, which is owned by ELAP and located in the northeast corner of Hillsborough County. At that time, or last month, we expected to bring this agreement to you for your approval today. However, we were unable to finalize the legal documents and sketches on time. This exchange will be part of an interlocal agreement with Hillsborough County. Under this agreement, ELAP will grant Tampa Bay Water 5 acres of permanent easements at no cost, and this agreement will also include additional property needs from the Water Resources Utility Corridor for the construction of portions of the collector main and for access to the well sites and 1 monitoring well site. These additional easements total about 4.7 acres and will come at a cost to Tampa Bay Water. The map shows the Stacy R. White Nature Preserve owned by ELAP, and in pink is the utility corridor owned by the Water Resources Department, which will hold those 4.7 acres of land, which runs, this parcel runs east and the south sides of the preserve. The project also will require additional property from the water resources on the eastern side of the well field. We plan to acquire about 40 acres of land, which is the blue area on the map, and this area will include the water treatment facility for the well field, 1 of the well sites, and the new well field point of connection. This is also the site where the new Balm point of connection associated with the pipeline project will be located. We will also need an access agreement with Hillsborough County, which is the area shown in yellow, along the easements for 2 additional wells and the remaining sections of the collector main. And we expect to begin negotiations and the acquisition process for this parcel early next year. We will also need easements from the South Fork CDD to connect well number 5 to the collector main. And to complete this work, we will require a right-of-way agreement with Hillsborough County and a right-of-use agreement with Tampa Electric. This slide shows the anticipated timeline for property acquisition activities, as well as the timeline for both the professional engineering services contract and the construction manager at risk contract approvals next year in year 2027. And this concludes my presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments from board members? Okay, I don't see anything, but thank you for the regular updates are very helpful, obviously. and we appreciate it. At this time, we are going to move on to item E, which is other administrative matters and old business, and I know that Mr. Carden asked to be recognized at this time.
Yes, thank you. Got some sad news for us and some happy news for sure. Miss Kathleen Gels over there. This would be her last board meeting today as she's retiring, I guess, the first week or so of January. So I just wanted to acknowledge that she's worked here for, I think, about 11 years. And she has kept all of us in line here those 11 years. It's probably not been very easy. But I want her to know how much we appreciate all the work she's done, not only for me and the staff, but also for each of these board meetings. She also supports our executive team, and she is the liaison between your aides and staff. So thank you, Kathleen, for your service.
Kathleen, I know I speak for the whole board when we thank you for your service. On behalf of those of us that have served as chair, your professionalism and your organizational skills and your ability to work so well with our aides is very, very much appreciated. And Della, particularly in my office, wanted to reach out and wish you well in your retirement. I know we all do. So thank you.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure working with Chuck and everybody at Tampa Bay Water. Ooh, I'm choked up. It's just been an incredible honor to be a part of an association or an organization like Tampa Bay Water, how important it is and how everybody here works together for a common goal. And it has been truly my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Commissioner Mariano.
So you've been absolutely phenomenal. And again, I think you said it very well. Your professionalism, your pleasantness. I wish you all the best in your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Well, with that, we are adjourned till January 26th. So, oh, excuse me. We do need a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from somebody. Who was it?
I think we alternated.
It don't matter.
Kathleen, I'm going to let you call the roll. Call this
You
one.
can pick either one of us.
Whoever you want.
Kathleen's last
Okay, there we go. Please record your vote.
And I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. And again, we will be adjourned and we will have our next meeting Monday, January 6th, 26th at 9:30 a.m.
Happy holidays.
Yes, yes.